Tristan Tate has gone and got himself in more trouble with the law. The Tates are just addicted to breaking the law, and this one he could have avoided so easily. The news came a few days ago when Romanian journalist Mircea Barbu reported for the BBC that Tristan Tate was officially under a criminal investigation for election interference. The law, which he is alleged to have broken, was Law Number 370/2004, which governs the organization and conduct of the election of the President of Romania. The specific part of this law that applies to Tristan's posts on social media is this one, which prohibits propaganda within 48 hours before the election day and on the day of the election. It is illegal in Romania during this time frame to encourage people to vote for a specific candidate or urge people to vote a certain way. In this post of Tristan's, which does not age well, he seems to very much understand that these laws exist, while saying they don't apply to him as a US citizen and vote Simeon. Of course, as always, Tristan was wrong. As someone who lives in Romania and votes in their presidential elections, these laws very much applied to him. The real kicker, which seems likely to get Tristan more criminal charges, was a live stream he posted to Twitter on the Romanian presidential election day, where he said this.
If you are a young man and you do not care about politics, you're not interested in politics, you're not interested in voting, I get it. Neither was I at your age. And I watched my own country turn to shit. And I live in regret with that because England is now almost beyond saving. What you're going to do if you vote for the wrong man today is you are going to slide down a toilet of degeneracy, immigration, LGBTQ plus agendas in your school and on your streets. And it will be 30 years before anyone brave enough comes along to stand up to the European Union and the then status quo of Romania, which is going to be the same as Western Europe in all of its failures. So I urge you all to do the right thing and vote for George A. Simeon. As I said, I'm not campaigning. I'm an American citizen exercising my right to free speech. I'm here in Dubai using an American platform. I've broken no laws. We'll see what happens. But I'm not scared of these people, and you shouldn't be either. Please vote for the right person today. Love you.
Love you too, Tristan. I don't know why he signed off like that. Given what we just went over about Romania's presidential election laws and the fact that Tristan clearly was aware of them, it would be fair to wonder how he could be so stupid. And while I do believe Tristan Tate is an absolute moron, this, I believe, is more of a case of desperation than stupidity. The Tate brothers were desperate for the candidate George Simeon to win the Romanian presidential election. The man who won the presidential election, Nicolae Dan, was highly critical of the Romanian authorities who allowed the Tates to travel to the United States and Dubai while they were awaiting trial to face charges including human trafficking in Romania. Whereas Simeon is a supporter of the Tates, who Andrew was moronically court-recorded on jail phone calls, trying to bribe him into helping them. Watch Simeon, when interviewed by Jackson Hinkle of all people, absurdly claim that they found no evidence against the Tate brothers.
In Romania, I mentioned to you before we started the stream, I said, I'm a little worried about going to Romania. I speak out against the deep state, and I'm worried these people are going to arrest me. They've arrested my good friends, Andrew and Tristan Tate, bogus stuff, and they threw the case out. Now they're thinking about starting another case. Who is it? Is it like one guy in the prosecutor's office in DICOT that is doing all this crazy business? I believe it's just a few very, very corrupt officials. Is that correct?
I mentioned earlier that 3 days before the European elections, my campaign staff was arrested and taken to the police station to testimonies and so on. The same prosecutor that executed this was the prosecutor in the case of Tate brothers.
Wow.
So we don't have a real problem with the judiciary system, because when you entered the judiciary system in Romania, including the Tate brothers, they found they found that there was no evidence against them. But you have these kind of prosecutors that are not listening to hierarchy and to their superiors, like the prosecutor in my case and in the case of Tate brothers, but they are listening directly to orders from the deep state in the States and in UK, directly to orders from the foreign embassies.
It is pretty clear why the Tate brothers would have been desperate for this lunatic to become president. He was very much the pro-Tate candidate. As for anyone hoping Tristan will face prison time over this election interference investigation alone, I wouldn't get your hopes up. It's most likely he'll just get a fine and be ordered to remove the posts. Unless something more serious comes of this, like evidence that he was paid to do this, or of foreign interference, it is unlikely that he would go to prison for this crime alone. Where this does get very interesting for me is the fact that the Tate brothers are on judiciary control, which for American viewers is similar to being out on bail. Like someone who's out on bail, a requirement of judiciary control can be that you will not commit any more crimes. So, if Tristan is found guilty of this crime, he should, according to the law, be at great risk of being locked back up in pre-trial detention. Am I confident that this will happen? It's hard for me to say that I am. The Tates have got incredibly lenient treatment when it comes to them committing further crimes while on preventative measures. As I mentioned, they were caught trying to bribe politicians when in jail. They were also court recorded on jail phone calls, trying to intimidate victims and witnesses into dropping their statements. And since being released, they have continuously used their social media platforms to intimidate victims and witnesses in the case. They really should have been locked up this whole time, and they absolutely would have been if they carried on like this in the US or the UK. So I'll be very interested to see what comes of this. Tristan has been summoned in for questioning by the authorities on Tuesday. I'll be sure to share any updates or news that comes of this after this questioning. As for anyone watching, Tate supporters or otherwise, who thinks that it is strange that Tristan could get criminal charges for this, I don't necessarily disagree. As an Australian, I do find these strict election laws a bit strange. But the Tates moved to Romania specifically for their legal system. Tristan was aware of these election laws and deliberately broke them anyway. If Tristan's luck finally runs out and he gets locked back up for this, he will only have himself to blame.